it's absolutely amazing. So I'm not saying that we don't think that service dogs are not a great option for children. We just have to educate people on the fact that your child that's, in second grade probably can't take a service dog to school with it just because logistically it just doesn't typically work.
Hi, I'm Melanie.
And I'm Corey.
And welcome to Love 'em and Lead 'em.
Lessons and laughs with the ladies of Dog Training Camp USA.
In this podcast, you'll take away proven and practical dog training advice with plenty of stories and laughs along the way.
Join us as we share our experience from the kennel and from life.
With that, let's sniff our way into this episode.
We're back.
We're riding like the wind. Like Christopher Cross back into this thing.
I love Christopher Cross, and I couldn't be more grateful that we got to see him.
So, fun fact, we love the genre of music yacht rock so much that it is what inspired our podcast intro and outro.
Our theme songs.
And if those of you that don't know what yacht rock is, like Toto.
Oh, this is a whole thing.
Toto and
is
Christopher.
It yacht or not?
It is. Toto and Christopher Cross would be considered yacht rock, which is
correct.
A genre of music from the 70s and 80s that would be considered not rock, but like soft rock with.
Well, and it wasn't a genre when it was first out. It was just
mainstream.
A genre of people that, like us, that love the vibe.
Just Michael McDonald just crooning.
Michael McDonald is our king.
That's another fun concert story. We got free tickets. We got free tickets.
Okay, shout out to Amy, my friend Amy, who slid her
"Don't incriminate us"
Bourbon and Beyond bracelets off
on the internet.
Gave them to us. She said, "Corey, I have tickets to Chris Stapleton tonight. Would you like to go?"
Who is my favorite artist of all time?
Melanie's like, "I want to see Chris Stapleton." Well, listen, in the spur of the moment, you really have to convince her. And I drug you kicking and screaming.
I had a newborn and I hadn't been out of the house. So it was a little bit of a hard swing for me at the time.
When
but
the
anyways,
music calls, you go.
It called me and then we showed up and the freaking Doobie Brothers.
Yeah, we got out of the car. Oh my God. We got out of the car and both of us looked at each other.
Is that Michael McDonald?
And we did like the German Shepherd head tilt.
Son of a bitch.
We're like,
it's
is
him.
That the Michael McDonald? And we literally ran from the parking lot into the venue, and we just...
This is one of the greatest nights of my life. Again,
I cannot believe that we saw Michael McDonald.
And we rolled in and they were like singing "Taking It to the Streets."
Oh,
and when we got there,
singing it, we were dancing it.
What the thing is, if you're familiar with the music festival setup in Louisville, we rolled by on 65 and I saw him on the Jumbotron from the highway. His face, Michael McDonald's face.
God,
and I was like,
shit. Thinking about this.
I was like, shit, that looks like Michael McDonald.
No
but I didn't.
way.
It was such a last minute thing. I didn't look at the lineup.
I
was
didn't either.
Like, surely that's not him. And then we got out of we opened the fucking doors of the car and he was singing.
Oh man. Ooh. This got me all hot and bothered right here. I'm not even
gross.
I'm having a heart attack.
It's
Me and
disgusting.
Michael McDonald are hair twins and everything.
Oh man. What a roller coaster.
All that to say, we love yacht rock. If you don't know about yacht rock,
you should
just
look
ask us because we'll talk about it for hours with you.
And the other thing we can talk about for hours is service dogs, which is why we had to make this a two-parter.
Yeah, so we were going to just try to talk about service dogs, and then we got long-winded.
Yeah.
Shocker. So this is part 2.
You know what else they call that? Long in the tooth.
You can't even say that with a straight face. What?
Somebody talks a lot. They're long in the tooth.
Okay. So now that they know how much we love yacht rock concerts,
yeah, for sure,
of people that are elderly,
not the audience at all.
Most of the artists are elderly, and most of the audience is also elderly. And there's me wearing my captain's hat and like dancing.
Oh man,
I would like to talk about something that's not elderly related, which is kids and service dogs. We ended our last episode talking about this, and I had a couple other things I wanted to say about it.
But then after you say that, we're going to talk about our whole process.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So this kid and service dog thing. So the parent of the child is typically the handler. And we've done this a lot of times with our own clients and service dogs for them. We actually have a client that son has severe disabilities, and he's an adult son, and he still is not the handler of his service dog. So there are some limitations to this. Like a service dog handler has to be able to physically and like intellectually manage the dog and give the dog direction in all kinds of settings. And so children, high schoolers will entertain the idea, right?
Yeah.
That they can handle their own service dogs. In fact, we have a high school student that has her service dog with her all the time. And it's going very well. I just talked to her mother. So when we're talking under, younger than high school age, typically the handler needs to be an adult.
Present.
Yeah. And so even I follow a lot of service dogs on Instagram. And there's one that is a type 2 diabetic or type 1 diabetic. I don't know, excuse me, for not knowing. But the dog is a blood sugar alert dog. The kid has the continuous glucose monitor. The dog is trained and is alerting the mother of the child when the child's blood sugar is low 15 minutes before the glucose monitor registers it. So these are like life-saving tasks. However, that dog, the kid is like a kindergartner, I think, either in kindergarten or first grade. The dog does not go to school with him, because if the dog went to school with him, a school staff member would have to be the dog's handler. And typically it's not an option, right?
Yeah.
So this dog is helping this kid so much. The dog now can even alert to the child that's in the school building when the mom is in car line.
Yeah.
It's absolutely amazing. So I'm not saying that we don't think that service dogs are not a great option for children. We just have to educate people on the fact that your child that's, in second grade probably can't take a service dog to school with it, just because logistically it just doesn't typically work. So that's all I wanted to say. So we're open to that. We have a lot of experience with it, but it's another misconception. I want this dog trained. My kid has trouble at school. He can take the dog to school. Well, probably not.
Yeah.
Or it's not advisable.
But I will say, like, any parent that calls us in any of these situations, like, their hearts are always in the best place.
Absolutely.
And they want what's best for their kids, and they'll move heaven and earth. And that's anybody that calls me in that position, like, yeah, I'll work with you, or I'll figure out what we can do for your situation. And maybe it's not a full blown service dog, and we have to get creative a lot to do these things. So, which kind of segues into what is our program. Like, it has over the years evolved into all this stuff, like telling all these stories. I'm like, I can't believe some of the shit we've done.
I know.
Damn.
We're like reminiscing.
Yeah.
That's a Yacht Rock song too. I'm just saying.
Oh man. Dun, dun, dun. I can't do it. All right. Damn it. Don't distract me. So there's kind of two ways to get into this. I mean, a lot of people call us with dogs they already have. Mm-hmm. And then the minority of people would call us and say, hey, we want to start from scratch. Usually those people, if they call us and they say we want to start from scratch, we tell them how long it's going to take, and they're like, we're out.
Yeah, that's true.
Usually.
That's true. Like, oh.
Because then we have to...
I don't want a puppy, or, whatever.
Yeah. Well, usually they're in a crisis, or they're in a situation where they're managing a disability, and they're like, I can't do a puppy on top of that. And we, as a business, are not in the position to be rearing puppies for people long term.
No. And so then they get told by me, well, then we probably aren't the best trainers for you. Like, you can make this happen maybe with a different organization or something like that.
Yeah. So the first thing we do, say they call you, they pass the phone consult. we're thinking maybe this could be a good fit based off of your initial phone screen, we always bring them in and sit them down in person because this is a long term. I mean, we're working with these people for several years. So we have a pretty upfront conversation with you about your symptoms, what are your biggest problems that this brings you that you think a dog would help you with, and maybe just talk a little bit more about how that initial conversation goes.
Yeah, it's a lot of so first of all, we always start with, hi, I'm Corey. I have PTSD and an anxiety disorder.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell me whatever you want to tell me, and I probably get it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I have a child with disabilities, and I was a special ed teacher. So, like, we try to make ourselves accessible to them as far as, like, here's our experience. Here's what we personally struggle with and whatnot, so that people will be comfortable talking to us about complex medical or emotional or psychological issues, because it's not easy to just go into a dog training place and start talking to somebody about it.
And I have to ask very pointed questions, like, what is going on for you when, you're having the panic attack? Where does it start in your body? Hey, spouse of the person,
what does it look like?
What do you notice? Like, because I have to start with something to teach the dog of what to look for. So I'm always telling people, like, look, you don't, like, the more you tell me, the better I can do, but if you're not comfortable, that's fine. But it's always interesting, and then people just tell us things.
Yeah, I mean, we spend a good bit of time making them feel comfortable and talking about ourselves, and then they usually will just start opening up. Like, we have one that we've actually seen this many times. The gentleman has what we would consider a rage attack, and he says, I get mad and it's almost like I black out. And so then we're like, okay, well, what does it look like? And he says, I'm hitting a wall, I'm screaming, I'm kicking things, I'm, doing these sorts of behaviors, because we have to get down to what could we get this dog to do to get you out of that mindset.
Well, and the goal would be to interrupt him way before he's gone from 0 to 60.
Correct.
So that's why I'm always like, even if you think it's something that is really insignificant, like I notice my foot starts tapping and then I'm spun up, like those are all things that I really need to know, because the earlier that the dog can intercede, the better off we are. Where
sometimes we can prevent the attack.
Right, well, that's the goal, right? Like you talk about the diabetic alert dog that you just said. I don't remember if you said it's alerting super early before the glucose monitor is. Like that is the goal. Like the seizure alert dog we have that we've trained from start to finish, alerts almost before the seizure, 100% rate when the seizure is happening at a really far proximity. But anyways, so I have to have something like a precursor to introduce to the dog, and then the scent stuff kind of naturally flows in with it, right? Like you teach the dog, the foot tapping starts, and the dog's like, oh, the dog can smell. Well, the hormones have shifted when the foot tapping starts. So, but when we bring the dogs in for camp, my hormones have not made me have a rage attack. But then we start pairing foot tapping with the handlers changes physiologically, and that's where the real like early alerting starts. The dog starts paying really close attention to it. So I skipped ahead a little bit to what we do at camp, but we have that initial meeting, we discuss these points and how we've been able to do it to keep our costs down. The best is you pick one thing, right? Like we're going to take the dog for a period of 4 weeks. We're going to leash train it. We're going to take it to all these places with us. Like me and you take our dogs to our business meetings. We take them to restaurants. We do all kinds of stuff in that initial month. And then we're also starting the task training. So, a physical stimuli with what behavior we want out of the dog starts during that month, and they recognize the behavior that they're looking for and that they need to be watching for. And then after, obviously I'm not training a dog from start to finish in a month. Like this takes forever.
Right.
But then the cool part of that is we hand the dog over and we start doing lessons. We meet everywhere. We go to people's places of work with them. We go to school with them. We go over here to Little Daniel's.
We go to the grocery store. We go to the airport.
Oh, yeah.
Any situation that the human is going to be in with the service dog, we try to do an outing to show how to manage the dog in different types of public spaces and also to proof the dog. So we've done a ton of that work when we've had the dog for the month. And then this is the part where a lot of agencies kind of flounder is they're not putting in the time with the human, because if the human isn't super comfortable, the human's not going to utilize the dog correctly or might not utilize the dog at all.
Yeah.
So that's where we put a lot of effort into the actual humans, because, you know, a person with a disability is already a lot of times, depending on what their disability is, uncomfortable out in public settings or struggles out in public settings. So again, like I talked about before with the kid being the center of attention, having a dog in the classroom, they don't necessarily want to be the center of attention. If they don't feel confident with handling their dog in public, they're not going to take it.
Yeah.
And some of our people are scared to go anywhere without the dog. And so then it's kind of a double-edged sword. They get in this cycle of I'm too scared to go, but I'm too scared not to go. And then they don't go. And then we have issues. So this is where we were talking about our model is kind of a hybrid model. We're doing like trainer trained and self-trained with trainer guidance.
Yeah.
So, you know, they come in, we do that initial, like, what do these things look like? What are you struggling with? We also have to look at the dog, right? So there's some disqualifiers that, you know, not every dog can do everything. So if I have somebody that's like, I need medication retrieval. Well, okay, so what is the dog? Well, the dog is a wiener dog. Well, can that dog get on the counter or get up to the table to retrieve the medicine, right? Mm-hmm. So different breeds, we've talked about this a lot, have different tendencies. So if we know that some of the task work is retrieval, it makes sense to get a dog that's prone to retrieving. If some of the things are scent work, like scent related, it's more reasonable to get a dog that has, you know, a history of being able to do scent detection well. So, you know, if we have a dog, we have a dog right now that we're training for a woman that has narcolepsy. And so we had to look at several things. What is your dog's behavior tendencies? Because we're going to have to shape one of those into
the response.
Mm-hmm. And what would wake you up?
This
right?
is the story of how I'm training a dog to bite the shit out of her owner. I'm like, I don't think a bark is going to work.
So
I don't think it is.
To her extensively about what does your sleep attack look like? How do you feel? What does your body do? When does it happen? Time of day, locations, all of these different things. And then we look at the dog who's got a great temperament, is a great dog. They're already super bonded. And what is the dog's tendency? Well, she doesn't really bark. So could we get her to do a bark on command? Probably. But it's not like her go-to. So let's work with her, not against her. What's her go-to? She's a little mouthy. She likes to put her mouth on you. And so we're going to work on training her to bite our client.
And not stop until she comes to, right? I mean, that's really, this person has found herself in some kind of unsafe situations with this disorder. And I'm like, this is like, you have to, and this is why this is such a delicate thing. Like some dogs, how do I say this? There has to be an element of persistence, right? Like some dogs will get frustrated and not persevere through, this person is not waking up and I know I'm doing the right thing, but I'm getting frustrated. So I'm just going to back off.
So it's like a drive. It's a drive.
It is. And I mean, think about, there's a story we laugh about all the time of one of our clients having a seizure alert dog. And it's a case of mom handles the dog and the kid has the seizure disorder. And he has seizures pretty predictably, like at certain times of day, but they were driving in the car and he starts having one. And this is not when he would normally have one. And the dog
was in the
starts
back
alerting.
seat.
And she's like, shut up. What are you barking at, you bad dog? And she's like smacking at it. And she looks over in the passenger seat and the kid's having a damn seizure.
And she didn't know it.
So but the dog is still learning, right? And what did we were just talking about this yesterday where you're like, the dog has to exhibit a little bit of disobedience in these responses.
I should have looked it up. I didn't think you were going to bring this up. It's like intentional disobedience or something like that, where they know something's going on and they know that no matter what the person is giving the command to do, they're going to persist because they know that it's not right.
Like a blind person telling their dog forward, trying to cross the street,
and the dog blocks them.
Yes, like that. That's some special shit right there, man.
It really is.
That's hard to harness on any just, run of the mill, whatever. So like I had to look at this dog with this narcolepsy case and be like, I mean, she was pretty even tempered. So like I need her to be mild mannered because I need her to go into public, but I also need her to have some piss and vinegar in her so that she will persevere through
and wake her up
and wake her mom up. So
we're assessing the person. We're assessing the dog. We're seeing if it's a good personality fit. We talked about this a little bit. Sometimes the humans will lean towards you. Sometimes they'll lean towards me. So we have that kind of balance where either one of us is interchangeable as far as like doing follow-up training and public access and all of those things. So we really try to make it a good fit and a good experience and make it reasonable, the things that we're asking of the dog and the things that we're asking of the human.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And then the dog comes and stays with us for 4 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we do all those things that you were talking about.
Sometimes too, on the front end, if there's like with all of these kind of factors at play with what these people have going on and then what the dog has going on, sometimes we do a trial period too. If we're like, you know what, I have no idea if this is going to work. So in this case, we got to know the dog really well because we're fortunate enough to do a puppy camp with her before we agreed to do the service dog training. We got to know her really well. And we were like, oh yeah, this dog's got what it takes, we think. So I'm super excited about that one. I think it's going to be good.
I know. I love that. Everybody loves that dog too.
I know. She's great. So that is how we do it. I mean, I would say our support is continuous and ongoing. I mean, I just had a client reach out to me from like 4 years ago give me an update or, had a problem. Like, how do we navigate this? Like, or we have clients reach out to us later like, hey, I started a new medicine and now I don't really have that problem I was having when we were working on it, but now I have this, right? Like those are all things like we are in your corner and we want the best for you. If you're working with us, those are all things that we're talking about continuously and we're always here for our people. So if you are listening to this and you're like, these ladies sound like they're idiots, you're stuck with us if you if you hire us to do this because we're very invested in how it works out.
And all of that to say also, it is a lot of work on the dog owner,
yes,
pet parent. It's a lot of work. And so, when you're looking at, again, somebody says you should get a service dog, it is a ton of work. And so we don't mince words about that. And we've had clients that started the process and they were like,
couldn't finish.
I don't think that this is what I want to do. And that's totally fine. We support that too.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, they have a really well-trained, great dog that they're just not utilizing in the way that they intended to utilize it. But it is a lot of work. It's a lot of practice. It's a lot of everything. It's like these super highly trained police dogs and military working dogs, they don't get that way by taking a day off. Yeah. Like, sorry if your day was bad, but you still need to do the things that are going to keep up the skills.
And people, again, whether you've shopped around or you've looked at what we charge to do this, it's very time consuming on us as well. I mean, we have multiple meetings we have pretty much daily check-in statuses on our service dogs with the
Oh, for
trainers
sure.
at the kennel of how did she respond to this? How did this session go? Did we try a new reward? Did we try a new stimulus?
It's a team approach.
I mean,
100%.
we are always in conversation with each other about how these dogs are doing because we take it so seriously. But they're getting obviously more sessions than the run-of-the-mill obedience dog we're doing. And that's another factor into this. It's just super technical stuff. I mean, I was just talking to about one today. Like, we've introduced a secondary reward. Well, I think we introduced it too soon, and now we've got to go back a step. Like, it's all just so like and this is just me probably
The
overthinking
tweaks
it
of everything.
And usually I'm always like, the people come in and I'm like, here's where we left off in the sequence of blah, blah, blah. And they're like, holy shit, like, this lady's crazy. And, because I'm like, here's where we left. I need you to be able to do this at home. And then, like, the dog almost always is just like, does the thing. And I'm like, okay.
I know.
Damn it. Like, the another amazing thing about this is just the dog's always rising to the occasion.
Yeah.
I mean, there's training hurdles and they act like idiots in the restaurant and shit in the airport and do all the bad things. I mean, they do. But
R.I.P. Harvey.
when it comes to this task work, I don't know how or why, but son of a bitch, it just clicks sometimes. And when it happens, it's magic. And I geek
awesome.
out for it.
It's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. So what's another example of, like, recently? I feel like it just happened where somebody was like, this happened and the dog knew exactly what to do. Where, damn it, something happened. It was within just the last month or two. One of our people told us.
I don't know about that, but I'm looking at, we made a list of service dogs and tasks and stuff.
Yeah.
And so we have that to go off of. And I was looking on here and I was looking at one of our clients that we love so much. It was a lab mix and the girl was in college and she had a dog that, again, was her own dog and was super attuned to her and all the things. And she had a very rough first college experience with some cyberbullying and all these terrible things happened to her at college that put her into a really, really bad headspace.
Mm-hmm.
And she was doing a lot of other, treatments to get back on track. And one of the things that they were exploring was a service dog, and she had the perfect dog for her. And we trained with the dog.
It was a total match made in heaven.
And then we trained with her. And I'll tell you what, the stories we could tell about interactions with regular old Americans out in the wild with service dogs would curl your hair. But she ran into a lot of different struggles. The dog was perfect almost in every way. She was going to class with her. She was great. And that poor girl came up against some challenges with housing that we helped her with.
They got a real nasty letter from me there with her housing stuff. I think it was her housing.
Yeah. Like they had a situation with an employee at Rupp Arena that we had to deal with.
Yeah, we did.
So that's one of the things with us is you're getting a little bit more than just, here you go, we trained your dog.
It's advocacy too. We're coaching people on, here's what you say when you walk into a place where pets aren't allowed and they give you a hard time. Here's what you say. Mm-hmm. Here's a card that you can hand them. And we find that just kind of prepping people for those scenarios, because they're gonna happen, just eliminates some of that anxiety. But you're never really prepared for what you're going to hear. So another one of our clients has a son that's blind, and the kid is very obviously blind. The dog, he's attached to the dog. The dog wears a guide dog harness.
Talk a little bit about
that arrangement,
the training goals were, and what the arrangement was. And we may have her on as actually a guest at some point. So
yeah, we should.
Oh my gosh, the stories.
Once we figure out how to have a guest.
Yeah, that's beside the point.
Oh God, I don't know what the hell we're doing. Okay, so they came to me. This adult son with disabilities is blind. This is the same dog as, This is the same dog as the one that was alerting to the kid in the front seat having a seizure. And he's blind, lives at home, adult. His mom is his primary caretaker, and
he's large. He's a large human.
He's huge. Oh my gosh,
he's like
six
something,
6'3". And she was like, look, he's blind. We're not going to go through the whole process to get a guide dog. And he's got pretty severe epilepsy. I lead him. He's a huge man. I just lead him around all the time. A cane doesn't work for him because he's got some, I don't even know what you would call that.
Again, he can't be the handler for the dog. He can't live independently.
Yeah.
He can't cognitively communicate instructions to the dog. So even though he's an adult, his disabilities lend themselves to where he has to have 24/7 care, and his mom is the caregiver. And so she was going to be the handler. So even for guide dogs, if the blind person can't do the things, then they sometimes a guide dog isn't even the best idea for a blind person because he can't move independently.
No, he can't. That's what I was going to say about the cane. She's like, we sat down. She's like, here's why a cane doesn't work. Like, he hits something. He doesn't really know how to maneuver or where we're going. And my body is taking all this stress of just leading him around. So I'm going to lead this was her idea. I'm like, this is genius. But she's also a special ed background. So she knew how to do all these things. Another person that just taught me all about how these people that live with these things, like just how different their lives are. And I'm just, again, so grateful for these experiences. But, what we came up with is he's going to hold on to the handle of the dog, and she basically walks the leash of it. And that helps him have a little bit of independence. Dog alerts on his seizures at a 100% rate, which is incredible. And we've dabbled. She goes and gets him some things. Sometimes that helps, but the dog has gotten him a little more independence, and it's kept her from having to have the physical burden of leading this giant man around everywhere.
Yeah, she was starting to have shoulder issues, and back issues, and all kinds of things.
We did a lot of guide dog training with that dog to see how far we could go. To see if we could give the dog a command and tell the dog to take him from point A to point B. And she did it really well. We used to go, this is another stupid thing we used to do with this dog. Oh my God. I can't believe we did this. We used to go to the store at home. And if you're familiar, it's a furniture warehouse, home goods store. But the aisles, it's in Louisville, the aisles are really, they're really narrow. And there's just a ton of shit in the store. Like, it's just a ton of crap everywhere. Matt's nodding his head. He's like, that place stresses me out. And we're trying to get the dog just more visually aware and see if we could get her to maneuver him around stuff without him giving her.
And without him knocking into things that were up above the dog's eye level.
You know what I'm going to, story I'm going to tell.
We worked our asses off on this.
So, because he's so freaking tall, right?
Yeah, he's tall. So like if something is sticking out off of a shelf, or if there's like a hanger that's dangling or sticking out, the dog would run him into it.
Well,
we were seeing if the dog could visually see at a higher level and go around things.
I kept taking him to the rug aisle, and I kept pulling the rugs out and running him into the rugs. But at least it didn't like hurt him. But then the dog learned, like, I got to be checking up, and she did really good. It's a kind of a version of the training we didn't really stick with just because it didn't work with what he had going on. But oh God, we ran that poor kid into so much crap.
We would put pool noodles.
Yeah.
We did like obstacle courses, and we would put pool noodles up at like neck and head level.
Yeah, I mean, we started off with stuff that was eye level with the dog and worked it up, obviously, and worked our way up to the rug at his level. But I even did like a blind simulator. Well, I didn't. I mean, I just put on like 2 hoodies over my head and like turned all the lights off and had the dog lead me around like a big space, and I was like tripping into shit and like, but it got her really used to like just being aware of a field around her that was a lot larger than herself. And what really worked in that dog's case was when you ran into something, it made a noise, and that kind of helped her learn the space that she needed to give him and maneuver him around stuff, and it was loads of fun.
Yeah,
but
so we are not in any way qualified to train an
literally
actual
not
guide dog. So that's another thing, though. Like, we know
Yeah.
what we can do and what we can't do. So if somebody's calling me and they're visually impaired and they're like, I need a guide dog, that's not us, friend. I hate to tell you.
no
We don't do hunting dogs.
no
We don't do guide dogs.
yeah
But this was, it was, again, we were trying to figure out
how far can we go?
what can we do. And it was these situations are never one size fits all. They're very specific and very nuanced with what a dog could do and what the human's capable of and what the family's capable of and the living situations and where they go and all the things. And so we try to take into consideration all of those things.
Yeah, and through all of that, we found exactly what they needed, and the dog does exactly what it needs to do for them. And,
That dog is a lifesaver for real.
Yeah, super, super privileged.
She's told us that she didn't sleep through the night for like 20 years or something.
Yeah, because he had seizures in the morning.
And
usually
so
early
she
morning.
was monitoring him on a baby monitor all night long. And then once she started to trust the dog to alert to the seizure, she actually could go to sleep.
Okay.
So that changed all of their lives.
Talk about trusting your dog. That's another one where, like, she told me the story of the barking with him driving, and the first thing out of my mouth was trust your dog.
Yeah.
Right? Because, like, for my background, looking for boom booms, right?
Like, you had a whole different level of trust your dog.
that is like you be in a training situation and be standing on top of a stick of dynamite, and the instructor looks at me and is like, you're an idiot. Your dog was telling you that the whole time and you were telling it to go the other way. Right. And I'm like, oh yeah, like totally. And, we have a lot of, that's the other kind of awesome part of this on the other side of just the initial training is, us pointing out to the people, like, your dog is actually telling you, and here's why you missed it. Donnie always told a really funny story of a service dog he trained for, I think, somebody with PTSD, and the guy would get the dog into a store or whatever public place they were doing, and the dog would like almost always like defecate in places that weren't appropriate. And Johnny was like, well, are you stressed out? And the guy was like, yeah. And he's like, well, that's his response. Like, we need to just train it to be a little different. We need to just train him to do something else. And I'll never forget him telling that story.
That
and
dog
like,
would just go in there and poop its pants. And then the guy that was having anxiety would be so distracted that he would have to stop and he would have to clean up the poop. And then they would go about their business.
Yeah.
So it is a response, not an appropriate one.
But this is why we're like, we can take your dog and do something with it because it already knows you. It already knows your moods and all the crazy, stupid things you do. So
now, if your dog has bit people,
let's not make it a service dog.
Or if it, is super reactive, and if it sees another dog, we've learned our lesson with that. Like, if it sees another dog and reacts inappropriately, that sometimes we can't overcome.
Yeah.
Again, if it's 13.
Let it live its life.
Let's let it live its life out.
Yeah.
So there are some parameters, but we like working with people's existing dogs because of that exact reason. They already know you. They know your routines.
Mm-hmm. There's also the conversation comes to, if the dog is just a little bit older, like, is the investment going to be worth it for the lifespan of this dog? And the dog might be perfect temperament wise, but maybe it has a health problem. I'm like, are you going to throw thousands of dollars of training into this to have your dog not be able to, medically do the things it needs to do a couple years from now?
Correct.
And those are really hard conversations we have to have too with people that sometimes, people don't consider. Again, back to the 13-year-old Chihuahua example, but also get pet insurance if you have a service dog.
Oh, man.
All your stuff is tax deductible with your service dogs, by the way.
Yeah,
Everything.
Service dog is considered medical equipment,
Mm-hmm.
as much as that pains dog lovers to hear.
Yeah.
They are considered medical equipment. And so your medical expenses when you have disabilities are a lot of times
Your vet
tax
bills,
deductible. So that applies to your dog.
food bills.
Vet, medicines,
Yep.
boarding, training. All of that is typically tax deductible.
We did a lot of yapping today.
We did.
That was a yapathon
Yeah.
about service dogs.
was.
If anybody has any questions about this topic,
Call Melanie.
we could probably
She'll talk to you
yap
on the phone.
for several more hours. No, I won't. And this was great. What a
Yeah.
great episode.
If you guys have anything you want to
two-parter.
hear about, shout at us. We'll talk about
and
it.
give us a follow on our semi-new
Instagram page.
Instagram page
Love 'em, Lead 'em podcast.
at loveemleadem.podcast.
I think so, yeah.
All right. That's our Instagram if you want to see what we're up to.
You can
All the
see our shirts there.
tomfoolery
Yeah.
that's happening.
Thanks,
All right.
guys. Thanks for listening. Thanks for listening to this episode of Love 'em and Lead 'em. If you want to hear more, be sure to check us out every other week on Spotify, Apple, iHeart, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Please be sure to follow us on Instagram at Dog Training Camp USA Louisville and check out our website at dogtrainingcamplouisville.com for more information on our training and other services.
If you need help with your dog, don't hesitate to reach out. You can find our contact details in the show notes.
We'll smell you later.